Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to suggest, in face of the very sad news we had today, that before the meeting we do a minute of silence in memory of Joe Cox, 41 years old, Labour MP for Batley and Spen. Thank you. Wish you rest in peace, and to start the meeting on a happier note. Happy Sussex Day to everybody. So we're starting the meeting now, 7 p.m. There is a paper that actually is before every meeting. Yeah, so I'll just, from my head, if I can remember, just some housekeeping. The fire exits are over there. And
out through the
corridor, yeah. In case of a fire, do not take the lift. And
we're not expecting any fire.
We're not expecting any fire drills, but if we do, just go through the fire exits. Is that enough? Anything else? Yeah. I didn't put my thing here, so I'm just doing it from the head. Anyway, good evening, everybody. Do we have any apologies for absence and declaration of substitute members?
Oh, sorry, Chair. Councillor Dave Argent, apologies from Councillor Dave Argent, substituted by Councillor Lily Walworth.
Thank you. Disclosure of interests. To deal with any disclosure by members of any disclosable pecuniary interests and interests other than pecuniary interests as defined under the Seaford Town Council Code of Conduct and the Localism Act 2011 in relation to matters on the agenda. Okay. Move on to public participation, please, to deal with any questions or brief representations from members of the public in accordance with Standing Order 3 and Seaford Town Council policy, please. Sylvia Dunn.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Chair. Sylvia Dunn. Thank you. Referring to agenda item number 5, Ben's report, thank you again for a very detailed report. Going in your report on the seafront, you say a programme of publicising bin etiquette will be undertaken over the next few weeks. Volunteers will be needed to give out leaflets in the beach area on busy weekends. As usual, I'd like to volunteer for this as I regularly walk my dog on the promenade. So could you put me down for being one of your because I'm also volunteering for you on Motorfest and also for Armed Forces Day. So
excellent.
Yeah. Moving on, the railing at Splash Point was replaced, which is brilliant. Thank you for that. But there was a safety sign there, obviously to warn people how dangerous it is to climb over there. But that hasn't been put back. Would it be a good idea to look into putting the safety sign back?
Yes, Chair. The signage, I think, would be something that we need to contact Lewis District Council about, possibly Environment Agency. I think they were the ones that obviously approved it. I'm not sure if it had symbols on it as well as text, but we'll investigate it.
Because it's so slippery, it's really dangerous. I mean, you think it's great to climb over, but it really gets slippery there. Okay, thank you. That's all for that one. And it's just the last one, agenda item 6, regarding the 2-minute beach clean. I think this is an excellent idea. And the National 2-Minute Beach Clean Day last Saturday proved a great success.
Yes.
I hope councillors get behind this. And again, if I can help in any way to support it, please would you contact me?
Yes, definitely. Thank you ever so much for your offer.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate that. Anyone else? No, so we carry on to item number 4, Finance Report. To consider Report 2216 to inform Members of the Community Services Committee of Income and Expenditure for the period 1st of April 2015 to 31st of March 2016 and the 2016-17 financial year to date, pages 3 to 16. So we are recommended to approve the report. Any questions? Anything you'd like to say there?
No, just to clarify, obviously the information's within the report, but you've got two different financial accounts here.
Yeah.
Obviously, end of year,
Yeah.
taking us to the 31st of March, and then purely because it's available, we've got the 2016-17 years so far.
Right.
Not a great deal's gone on in there yet this year, so there's not a great deal to report on it. But in Appendix C, obviously on page 16, you will see the table that we're starting to use now, so that if we have any variances arise, we'll put them into the standard body of the report, the main body of the report, and they will be logged within this table so that we don't have to sort of recover them in future
Coming
meetings.
back and forth.
The
That's
explanation
excellent.
should be carried forward at each meeting, essentially.
Right, I think that makes life a lot easier, so thank you for that. So any comments or anything that councillors would like to say? No, so
Great report, Chair.
pardon?
Great report, Chair.
It is a very good report, so I recommend we then note and approve the report. Do you have a proposal? Propose in a second? Yes? Show of hands, please. Thank you very much. So moving on to item number 5, Projects and Facilities Manager Update Report. To inform members on progress and actions relating to Seaford Town Council assets and services, we are recommended to note the contents of the report. So I'll pass this to Ben to present his report to us.
Yes, Chair. Again, I think not a great deal has arisen since I produced the report. Progress is moving on at the salt. This is one particular thing to raise. We've, Compound completed the last of the rubber mulch surface today. They're returning next week to do some soil and seed, which is hoped to pretty much bring the project to a close. There will be a few things just to make sure that we pick up on loose ends, so that hopefully the summer it will be clear and ready for everyone to use. There'll be certain areas that we might need to keep protected because it's soil and seed, and we need to keep watering it as well to make sure we get some growth before the summer sets in. But quite confident now.
I think that's excellent news for the children in town to know that they will be able to go to the park.
Yeah, thank you for sorting the skip out as well, Ben. A lot of reasons upset and we worked really hard on that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then just obviously Appendix A now is the most definitive sort of version of which is page 23 of the agenda. It's the most definitive list of projects and update points that we've got for each of the team members now.
Yep.
Obviously we've got the 4 team members, myself, Len Fisher, Lynn Collins and Emily Piper, and each of our projects and kind of areas of responsibilities, are all covered in this, and we will be updating with comments as time progresses.
That's excellent.
And if it isn't on this list, then really we shouldn't be focusing too much of our
Right, so
attention
these
on
are
it.
the priorities
They
and we
are.
should be really focusing on these.
And obviously you can pay attention to, over on the right hand side, we've got what's called an SO number, which is the strategic objective number.
Right.
So where our projects linked to the strategic objectives, which were adopted in May at full council, that obviously allows you to track what
Okay,
objectives
so they will
we're
have that
working
code
to.
so we can track them back to this.
That's right.
That's excellent. Yeah, so I can't remember if I said welcome to Lynn and Emily. I'd like to say that. Very welcome to the team. I heard you're already doing a sterling job with the organisation of the Armed Forces Day and the Motorfest as well.
No,
You're not involved in it, just that Armed Forces. Of course, Motorfest is the other one that's doing. But anyway, moving on. Anyone would like to ask any questions?
It's a question, Chair. It's a question about the iconic facility
Yes.
and the expressions of interest that were sought. My understanding is still that this iconic facility is going to go where the lifeguards hut is, which I still think is an absolutely crazy idea. And surely an iconic facility should be on the seafront like it is everywhere else in the country. I don't see any point in going any further with the iconic facility if they're not going to locate it in a case it's iconic. Having spoken to two of the people that came down for the initial expressions of interest, both of them have considerable investment, and both of them have informed me that they will spend the millions that it costs, but they won't do it whilst it's on the wrong side of the road. We need to go back to Lewis District and say, what is the point of putting it in the salt? Salt isn't going to become an iconic facility as such. This is wanting a cafe, a restaurant, something on the seafront. I think we need to go back to Lewis District and get them and see if they can reassess the location for this. I personally think this needs to be on the seafront and not to the wrong side of the road.
Yes, I agree, and I was just wondering what's your...
Obviously, the expressions of interest are just early stages. So far, just from memory, there aren't any that specifically replace, for example, the cafe footprint. All are up next to the roadside. Some, I think, have included concepts that would actually address traffic and crossings, and one of them, I think, showing on the seafront itself.
Mm-hmm.
So there's scope in there, and it was more to be led by those that were proposing rather than Lewis District Council. So the proposals we had weren't kind of briefed too heavily to be on the salts, so they had the opportunity to be quite free with it. Certainly I can take those comments on board and feed them back to the town clerk, who's going to be reviewing the iconic facilities with Lewis District
I
Council.
think that's quite an important request from Councillor McLean, and I would like just to put as
Councillor
Walraven, please.
It's about vandalism in the salts, and was anything picked up on CCTV cameras? It's my bone of contention because we pay so much for these cameras and we don't seem to catch
Yes,
the
Chair, I
villains.
think it's, for officers, it's a bit of a bone of contention as well. I have actually asked if there's any footage. We haven't had a response yet, so I'm still pursuing that. I'm just clarifying dates and times because we did also have reports that the Salts Cafe was broken into, but that was a misunderstanding. It was actually the Martine kiosk.
Okay.
So we've got a combination of reports and vandalism, criminal damage, all sorts of things. I just need to get the dates and times together.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll be pushing for whether there is any CCTV footage available. Just to sort of back that up, we're aware that obviously the only CCTV camera on the seafront hasn't necessarily shown signs of performance up to now, and we are applying for funding for new CCTV systems. It's one of Len's, I think I've included it in the report somewhere,
Yes,
it's one of
it
Len's
is on the
priority
report,
projects to apply for funding.
Yeah.
And we're looking at different options of using data and 4G communication for cameras, so it saves on wiring costs.
Oh,
And
definitely.
as long as you've got a power source, you can run different types of cameras, all sorts of different
Technology is quite...
different places. And you can monitor it from more convenient places as well. Yes. So we're looking at those options, and obviously we'll pursue any footage that we can acquire in relation to the incident.
All right, thank you. Are you happy with that, Councillor Walraven? Yes, Councillor... Are you all right? Okay. Councillor Freeman?
Nothing.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Honeyman, please.
Just following on about the question about vandalism, I can understand why, but obviously the toilets are being shut at 3 o'clock daily is slightly concerning me, especially when it's more like the accessible toilets. So I haven't checked myself, but is there signs up there saying where the alternative accessible toilets are?
That's a good question.
Because obviously,
Yes.
if you've got people with disabilities, and if they're being closed at 3 o'clock, are they aware where else they can go to?
Yes, Chair, I think the 3 o'clock closing isn't currently happening,
Okay.
so it's till 8 or 9 p.m. in the evening at the moment. Sometimes it's usually around 8 or 9 p.m. If it does shift to 3, then I can bear that in mind, certainly. I think their standard signs with reporting numbers and things does actually say where the next nearest toilet is. obviously it's
So-
not ideal. What we're trying to do is actually avoid that occurring at all.
Okay, so when is disclosure going to start at 3 p.m? Do you
Only
have
if
any
the
idea?
problem-
Or if it persists?
If it persists.
Okay.
They had to implement that a couple of years ago, around 2014 I think it was. They had to shut at 3 o'clock for a number of weeks because it was
Okay.
after school activity that was.
Right, so that if that happens, will be after the summer.
Oh, we
Could be
can't
any
say when
time.
it'll happen
Could be
yet.
any time. Okay.
Obviously,
That's
we'll
concerning.
address potential issues if that
Mm.
does arise.
Okay, well, we're going to have to wait and
That
see.
small minority of people causing disrupting for others.
Usually is a small minority, I'm afraid. So.
Just going back on what Councillor McLean said, Chair, there used to be, I think it's Seaford Times, I recently saw a photograph, and there was actually premises opposite the Solus, opposite the Lifestyle Station. There was a cafe, so back Victorian times, so I don't know if there'd be precedents for planning there, if it's something we've been in the past.
Councillor Walraven?
Yeah, the other thing I was going to mention, thanks to Len for getting the funding for 4.5k. I mean, that was the full amount which was requested, and to actually achieve it is quite an achievement these days. So,
Yes, so if you can pass our thanks on behalf of the councillors, please. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. Any more comments? No, so any yes, would you like to propose a seconder, please? Councillor Walraven. Right, show of hands, please. Right, so moving on to item number 6 now. 2-minute beach clean, which is the purpose of the report to seek approval for a contribution towards the cost of the 2-minute beach clean campaign, working in partnership with Seaford kiosk operators. We are recommended to approve a contribution of £330 from the project budget to be made to meet the primary cost for Frankie's Beach Cafe to sign up to the 2-minute beach clean campaign, subject to the kiosk operator meeting any further cost, maintaining supplies and equipment and managing the scheme as per guidance provided by the campaign organisers. Also to grant permission for the freestanding sign to be placed on the seafront and the campaign to be promoted on a daily basis when the kiosk is operating. And number 3, to delegate authority to the projects and facilities manager to fund further boards on the same arrangement to a maximum total of £1,000 from the project's budget. So I'd like to start off on that, saying I think that's an excellent campaign. We have been, as Mrs. Dunn said, on the last Saturday, which was the national launch of the campaign, we went to the beach and a lot of people were quite enthusiastic to do it. Others not so enthusiastic, I must say, but you know, they're always the grumpy ones that, you know, are not prepared to do anything, so that's normal. But I think that's a great initiative from Dominic, and I would like to support that. And you know, whatever we can do in terms of helping publicise the campaign and let people know. And I think all councillors being involved would be really, really good for our town. So I would like to approve these. So I'd like to propose that we approve that. Councillor Walraven?
Yeah, I'd like to second you on it. I think this is a good idea, and it's amazing how much, because they do concentrate on marine litter rather than from the fish and chip shop, that sort of thing. But it's amazing how much that sort of litter is washed up on our beaches, and I certainly notice it a lot up West End of the promenade. And yeah, I fully support this.
Excellent. I think anything that we can do to help the wildlife as well is very important, because this litter ends up, you know, in the ocean and killing.
And it looks as though it's just mainly in the West Country at the moment.
Right. Yeah. So, yes, Councillor McLean?
Yeah, just with the up to the £1,000, so that's another 2 boards, one for Martello Kiosk and one for the same club. Have they agreed to this? Because if we don't want to put boards there and then not do anything with them, not take them in at night. not put them out in the morning.
Yeah, I think that's subject to their agreement. They will only spend that money if they agree. Am I correct?
Yes, Chair, yeah, and having discussed it with Dominic Smith, obviously, I did say that if the campaign wasn't going, if we didn't get good feedback, even if they just sort of said, yes, that's okay, then we might not have committed either. I think it's best to have someone that's keen on launching the campaign and running with it confidently, and so it gets positive feedback and kind of positive backup from
Yes,
those
I
running
think
it.
it's good for business as well. It attracts people, engages with the public, and gets everybody working for it. So Councillor McLean, just
Back to that, so my understanding is that there's a bin and people put rubbish into the bin. Is this right? Is this, no? So it's just
they have to take it home.
Yes,
That's the idea.
the scheme itself really is built around simply a sign.
Yeah.
It has attachments on it that I think contains the bin liners
yes, it's the bin
and the
liners.
litter pickers.
Yeah, and the litter pickers.
And then you arrange the collection of the litter in the most convenient way. And we've got LDC on board now. I can confirm we've actually been awarded some funding for the first board from Lewis District Council. So thank you to them. They're meeting half the cost of that board. We are asking them about the other two potential boards, and we do have the other operators on board with us as well. They seem very keen to be involved.
I think that's
So,
excellent news.
provided that positivity remains right up to the point of order, which actually should be within the next few days. As long as they're still keen, then we'll place the orders and we should be ready to go.
Fantastic.
Just one final point.
Finalise these ideas.
So the people take the bags, fill up their own rubbish, that's great. Are they putting on extra cleaning for the bins so are those bins then going to go into the bins that are on the seafronts already, and who replaces the sacks? So who has to pay for the funding of the sacks? Because I don't think, I think it's great, I think the council should pay for it, and indeed Dominic himself, he's thought of this, and I'm assuming it's Dominic, shouldn't be left with the cost of buying more sacks when they run out of use.
Yes, Chair, I can bear that in mind, certainly. I mean, the agreement so far with Dominic is that he's happy to, he was actually hoping for contributions from us for the board. That was one of the reasons why I said that we'll pay for or suggested that we should pay for the full amount, so that he then, if he's all right to do the bin liners, which he's suggested he is, he's quite happy to replace them. Obviously, we can bear in mind small nominal costs of replacement of bin liners. We've talked about the fact that the amount of litter that people might collect in 2 minutes might not need to go into a big bin liner anyway, so some reused shopping bags, for example, might be the way to go. And then collection services, really what that will do is operate around the beach, the seafront collections. Some people will naturally put them into the general waste bins, but because it's coordinated from these locations at the kiosks, I think really they're going to be managing the collection of that litter. And if it starts to get out of hand, they can communicate
and
with.
Maybe it would be nice if Dominic could be encouraging them to take the rubbish home, because that's one of the main things for us here, that to educate the people to actually start bringing their rubbish home and to dispose, themselves. So I think that's positive in a way that we're going to get on communication about this problem, and people will be more willing to get on with it rather than just talk about it. Councillor Freeman, please.
I know it's not quite on this point, but does the council have access to a cheap supply of doggy bags?
Not at the moment, Chair, no, we don't. No. I think Lewis District Council can acquire them.
Okay.
The Rangers themselves,
Rangers. Okay. Thank you.
Can I ask another question after we've done this last item?
Yes, go on.
No, we voted on this last bit yet, or?
Not yet.
So,
We're going to prove them all together. aren't we?
yeah, are you proposing all three together?
Proposing all three together, yeah. Sure.
With regards to so I think it's providing a cup of tea or coffee for people that do a complimentary cup, I believe.
Okay.
For those that participate in it, I think that was his incentive to get the people on board, was to provide a complimentary tea or coffee. It's really commendable of them.
If it does that,
yeah.
I think that's a bit, asking a bit much from him, but, because it's his business, but, if it's his idea and he's all right with
But
that.
also it's something that's come from the West Country, that we were the first one in Sussex to promote this as well.
Yes.
It's a really good thing for super.
it's very good for Seaford. And I suggest everybody have a look at beachclean.net, which is the website and tells you more details about the campaign. I think it's a fantastic initiative, and I commend Dominic from Frankie's Cafe and thank him for bringing this to our Community Services Committee. So shall we then, we have a proposal in the second already, shall we just show of hands? Thank you very much. And that is the last item of our meeting. Councillor Freeman?
Yes,
Before we end.
I have a, Councillor Campbell and myself have got together with Sue Phillips from Waifs and Strays, and before their next dog show, which is the 20th of August, I believe, we're planning on having a doggy doo-doo march along the seafront.
No doggy
handing
doo-doo.
out free doggy bags, and my students at summer school to make banners and that. Sort of no doggy doo-doo.
So that's
Something like that.
that
So,
we'll, yeah, that's
if anybody
on the
has a
cards.
dog, or can borrow a dog, or can come along dressed as a dog,
Rent one.
but you know, the more we can get marching along the seafront, we haven't yet decided on the starting and finishing places.
Yes,
We're finishing in the Muslow Fields, probably starting at the Salts.
yes.
So
We are going to publicise that on, you know, as soon as we have all the
Yeah.
details sorted out. But you see, that's
just
an
give
idea
you all
that I had.
forewarning.
Yeah.
So if you've got a dog or can borrow one, or
Yeah.
dress up as one,
So look forward to it. The no doggy
do
doo
doggy
walk.
doo doo.
The no doggy doo walk. All right, then we're finishing the meeting now at 7:26. That's a record. Thank you.
Thank you, Gerald.
Thank you all for coming.